Today I am going to explain important concept SCD. SCD means slowly changing dimensions. Whenever there is a change in the source, what we need to do in our data warehouse tables that represent slowly changing dimensions. Here there are different types of SCDs. We have type 1, type 2, type 3. So this is my source data, employee number 100, name Ravi, salary 2000. So if you want to go for type 1, what we are going to do is we are going to maintain only current information. So what we will do is we will insert 100 Ravi 2000. After some days, Ravi salary increased to 4000 in the source. What we need to do in our data warehouse table, we are going to update 4000. After some days, again Ravi salary increased to 6000. What we are going to do again here, we are going to update to 6000. At any point of time, you can say what is the current salary of Ravi based on this data. You cannot tell what is the previous salary of Ravi or previous salary of Ravi. So if a new employee joined, then what we will do? So we will insert it. So here, if you observe, we are doing two operations: insert, update. If it is a new employee, we are going to insert it. If it is a old employee, we are going to update it. So here you can see operations, insert, comma, update. So if you go for a type 2, so here we are going to maintain complete history. So initially assume Ravi salary is 2000. So what we are going to do here, 100 Ravi 2000. So after some days Ravi salary increased to 4000. Then again we will insert a record, 100 Ravi 4000. So in order to differentiate latest record and old record, we will specify one flag by latest record, by old record flag with you. So again after some days Ravi salary increased to 6000. Then what you need to do? Again you need to insert 100 Ravi 6000 flag by old one we are going to update with here. After some days again Ravi salary increased to 8000. Again insert. Whenever there is a change in the source, you are going to insert a record flag y old record with here. So that's why here you can see type 2 we are going to maintain complete history. Based on this data we can tell what is the current salary of Ravi, 8000, previous salary 6000, previous 4000, before that 2000. So here also if you observe what kind of operations we are performing, we are applying insert and update. But here update operation we are not doing on source data, just we are updating the flag. So whereas here in type 1, whenever there is a salary change, directly we are updating the salary, we are modifying the source data. Any questions so far? Sorry?
Venkat, call me.
Here tell me Ghosh.
For SCD type 2, is it always the flag which will define that previous history, or sometimes it's like effective end date?
Correct. Record start date, record date also some people use. Some people also use versioning also, but versioning nowadays no people are using. We use either flag or record start date or record end date. I will explain record start date, record end date when we can enter into practical. Type 3. In type 3, we are going to maintain only partial history. So here we are going to maintain two columns for salary. what is the current salary and previous salary. So initially 100 Ravi, assume salary Ravi is 2000. What we will do, what is the current salary of Ravi? 2000. What is the previous salary of Ravi? Empty, null. After some days Ravi's salary increases to 4000. Then what happens? Previous salary becomes 2000 and current salary becomes 4000. After some days Ravi's salary again increases to 6000. Then previous salary becomes 4000, current salary becomes 6000. So here at any point of time you will get what is the current salary of Ravi and what is the previous salary of Ravi. You won't get previous salary. In real time, generally we go for either SCD type 1 or SCD type 2. We don't prefer SCD type 3. Why? Because this data anyway we are maintaining in SCD type 2. Any questions so far? Okay, now I am going to show practically how to implement SCD type 1. Now I am connecting to Oracle. I am connecting to source. Select star from tab. Then you can say list of tables under this user. Select star from tab. So this is my source. I have a duplicate record. I want to delete that. Delete from table. So I have created one duplicate. Select star from. Okay. So this is my source. Now I am connecting to target. So here I am creating a table. Create table emp underscore dim. Employee number. I am going to define this as primary. Employee name. That of salary. Here my source is employee table and my target is emp underscore dim. Now I am going to implement type 1 concept on my target table. Any questions so far? Start all programs. Informatica client power center. Double click on repository, enter the user ID and password. Now double click on your folder. For any task we have three steps. First one is creation of mapping, second one creation of session, third one is creation of workflow or use the existing workflow. So in order to create a mapping, first of all we need to verify whether our source and targets are ready or not. What is my source here? My source is employee, already available. What about target? My target is not available. I am going to import my target using target designer tool. Select target designer. From the menu bar, select targets, import from database. Enter the password. Click on repository. See here you can see the log symbol in yellow color. Why? Because we have defined primary key column in the database. When you import, automatically comes. Now my source and targets are ready. I can create a mapping using mapping designer tool. Select mapping designer tool. From the menu bar, select mappings, click on create option. Enter the mapping name. m underscore employee underscore SCD1. Click on. From the navigation bar, select your source, drag it out to the space. Similarly, your target. So I am dragging the same target twice. Why I am dragging same target twice? One for insert, one for update. So we are going to perform same operation, either insert or update on the same table. So drag the same target twice. If you drag same target twice, automatically name will change empdim, empdim1. So not your target table name change, your target instance name. So if you observe here, double click, say empdim, your target table you cannot change. Here also you can see empdim. If you want, you can change the instance name. Any questions so far? Now here I am going to change the target instance names. In workflow monitor, you can easily see how many rows reach to insert and how many rows reach to update operation. I'm just changing the instance names. You can rename. This is for readability purpose only. This is optional. INS. INS means insert. I'm not changing the target table. I don't have access also to change.
Venkat, what is instance rows?
Sorry?
Instance rows?
There are no rows, instance. Just see, we are dragging same target, right? So one is come as empdim, another one is empdim1. We call it as instance names. This is one target instance, this is one target instance. Instance means sample kind of thing. For the same table, if you drag multiple times, we call it as different target instances.
Okay.
Apply. Here, important thing is when we need to insert and when we need to update. If it is a new record, we need to insert it. As I explained, SCD Type1, if it is a new record, we are going to insert it. If it is a old record, we are going to update it. So how do we know a row coming from the source is a new row or old row? So what you need to do is you need to compare your source data with the target data, then only you can tell that is a old row or new row. Suppose 100 is coming from the source, 100 is not available in the target, then you call that is a new row. 101 is coming from the source, 101 is not available, then it is also a new row. Suppose 200 is coming from the source, 200 is already available on the target, then it is a old row. So here how you are telling that is a new row or old row? By comparing your source data with the target data. So here I am going to take a lookup to compare my source table data with the target table data. I am going to take a lookup on my target table so that I can compare my source data with the target table data. From the menu bar, select transformation, click on create option. When it opens, create transformation dialog box. Here you need to select lookup. Enter the name. Whatever the name you want, you can give, but Informatica recommended standard for lookup transformation is it should start with LKP. Click on create. So you need to select your target table. emp underscore do. Click on. So entire your target table data you received into the lookup. Now you can compare your source data with the target data. So here employee number is there. Select your employee number from the source, drag it. Already here E number is there, automatically taken as E number 1. So you need to compare these two. Double click on the lookup, go to condition. Add a new condition. E number is good. Apply. As we know, lookup, if there is a match, it returns value. If there is no match, lookup returns null value. Suppose you are sending 100 from the source. 100 is not available in the target. Then lookup returns null value. If lookup return null value means that is a new record. Suppose 101 you are sending from the source, 101 is available on the target, then corresponding values it will return from the lookup. Then that is a old record. If it is null means new record. If it is not null means there is a old record. Now I am going to use router to route data to different targets. From the menu bar, select transformation, click on select router. Click on create. Select all the ports from source qualifier, drag it onto. So here important thing is you need to take any lookup port. So here lookup port is the number I am taking. So automatically in the router it has taken as E number 1. You always need to compare lookup port. If lookup returns null value means that is a new record. If lookup returns not null means that is a old record. Any questions so far?
Venkat,
Yeah, tell me.
from lookup you are taking E number. Why not E number one? What you were saying.
See, I have taken from lookup E number only. Lookup E number only. Already E number here router there. So that's why automatically it has taken as E number 1 in the router.
No. For while taking the means input output from lookup, why
Mm-hmm.
not we are using E number one? Means I am just asking you whether we can use E number one or E number any one of those.
No, you cannot use. E number 1 means if you take E number 1, always it returns values, right? From the source. Suppose 100 is coming from the source, 100 is not available in the lookup. Even though E number 1 port contains 100 or not. So 100 will return. That is not true, right?
Okay. So
So
we
you,
are comparing in E number only, right?
sorry?
No, we are doing the comparison in E number only, right?
Yeah, correct. See, here you sent 101 from the source. So if you take this value, 101 is not available in the E number. Okay, lookup is not available in that 101 itself, not available in your lookup data. Then what happens if you take E number 1? It contains value or not, which is coming from the source. You have value 101. That means that is a old record. Actually, that is not a old record. There is a new record. Why? Because there is no match. If you take key number 1, you will get not null. If you take key number, it will give null value.
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
So always you need to take lookup port for comparison. If there is no match, lookup ports return null values, not your source ports. Now double click on router, go to groups tab. So here you need to create two groups, one for insert, one for update. So here icons are there, add a new group. Insert, update. So when we need to insert, if it is a new record, how do we know that is a new record? If lookup returns null value. So we can have a predefined function, we can use is null. Automatically comes in blue color. Is null of lookup port. What is the lookup port? E number 1. This is very important. You need to compare always lookup port. So when we need to update, if lookup returns value, that means not is null of opposite condition. Lookup port. So if you have any confusion, so you can change the name also here. In the router E number 1 it is showing, right? Otherwise you can change to lookup E number. For more clarity, lookup E number, you can change like this also. Automatically here also it will change. So if you have confusion whether E number you want to take or E number 1 you want to take, go to ports tab, change it. So we'll get more clarity. Any questions? For insert, you can connect e-number, name, salary. For update operation, I cannot directly connect. I need to use update strategy transformation to update the records. From the menu bar, select transformation, click on create option. Then it opens create transformation dialog box. Here you need to select the update strategy. Enter the name. Whatever the name you want, you can d_update. You can create, click on done. Select all the ports, supply number. One second. From update strategy, you need to connect to target. So here in the update strategy, you need to change by default insert. So double click on update strategy, go to properties tab. See, by default it is showing update strategy expression 0. Either you need to give one numeric value or you need to provide the constants dd_update. Click on apply, click on apply. No, orange. See here, some people use update strategy while connecting to insert also. From router insert group to update strategy and then update strategy to target. One more update strategy you can see, that is optional. Repository. So, any questions so far? In interviews also they ask a question, what is SCD, what are different types of SCDs? Can you explain the flow of SCD type 1? Then you need to explain like this: source qualifier, take a lookup on target, and then router. In router I create two groups, one for insert, one for update. If it is null, lookup returns null value, then I will insert, otherwise I will update. Sometimes they will ask what are the conditions you are giving in the router. Then you need to explain. Is null of lookup port for insert, not is null of lookup port for update. And then insert group to insert target instance, update group to update strategy, and then to target. So automatically you have to tell, you need to remember this flow. Now I am going to create a session for this. Tools, workflow manager tool. So if you go for face-to-face interview, then they will give paper and pen. You need to draw the tag CD type 1. Select task developer tool. From the menu bar, select tasks, click on create option. Enter the session name. S_m_, then it will show list of mappings. Select your required mapping and then click on done. As usual, we need to give relational connections. Double click on the session, then it opens edit tasks dialog box. Go to mapping tab. So here you need to give connections for both sources and targets. For source, you need to give source connection. Source 23. So you have two targets, you need to give connections for both the targets. Target 83. Select lookup. So your lookup is on target side. So give target connection. Suppose if your lookup is available on source side, then give source connection. So here click on this icon, select use object, and then select the relational connection. Click on OK. Click on apply. Click on repository. Save. Any questions so far? Our first two steps are completed. First one is creation of mapping. Second one is creation of session. Third one is creation of workflow or use the existing workflow. Select workflow. Select your session. Drive it into repository. Save. Now select your session. Right click. There is option start. Right click, get on. See here 3 rows read from source, those 3 rows reach to insert first time. Why? Because your target table is empty, all rows are new rows. Check your database. Select star from emp underscore. See, all are inserted. Now you cannot tell your mapping is working fine, you need to verify new inserts and as well as old updates. See here, I have changed instance name, so that's why you can see INS UPD. So we can easily tell how many rows reach to insert and how many rows reach to update. Any questions so far? Okay, now I am changing source data. I am connecting to source. So I am inserting a new row. Before that, I will update to 9000 salary. Update table name. Set salary is equal to insert into table name. Values 200 ABC 3000. Okay. Select star from employee. So this is my source. If I run my source, what happens? Already data is there in the target. This is the only one new row. It should go to insert. The remaining all rows should go to update operation. But because remaining are all old rows. No check. You can directly rerun from workflow monitor itself. Right click and start task. See here, one row reached to insert, remaining all rows went to update. Now check in the database as well. Select star from emp underscore bin. See, new row inserted, old rows updated with salaries. 9,000, 9,000, 9,000. Earlier 8,000. You can see your target data earlier target. Now you can tell your mapping is working fine. So if it is a new record, it is inserting. If it is a old record, it is updating. This is we call it as unit testing. Whether once you develop your mapping, you need to test it. Your mapping is working fine for all scenarios or not. Here we have only two scenarios. One is insert operation, another one update. Both are working. So if you observe here, based on employee number, we are updating e-name and salary. Based on key column, whatever codes you connect other things, you are updating all the things. So here e-name, even though not changed in the source, it is updating with same value. So automatically where condition comes, where it will set e-name and salary, you can check the query, update query and insert queries in the session log also. Right click, get session log. See here, just find update. Next. See here, this is the update query it is written. Update table name, set e-name is equal to question mark, salary is equal to question mark, where e-number is equal to question mark. Based on e-number, you are going to update e-name and salary. Suppose you want to update only one column, that is your requirement. Just connect that one only. Don't connect. Suppose you want to update only salary, then remove this link. It will update only salary. You can see in the session log everything, how it is written insert statement, how it is written update statement. Suppose you want to know insert. See, insert into table name. These three are the values: employee number, name, salary. Any questions so far? Now I am going to insert a duplicate record in my source. What happens you see. Why? Because I have defined a key column on my target. If you define a key column, it won't allow duplicates. But what happens you see. I am going to insert one duplicate record in source. So this is my source. So here insert into table name, values, employment salary, select star row. So here 100 Ravi 9000, 100 Ravi 9000. There are duplicates in the source. Just I want to truncate my target table also. What happens? Suppose if you don't truncate your target table, what happens? So 101, 102, 200, all will update. So I will show you first without deleting data in my target table. After that I will show you how to, if you delete data, what happens. Right click, restart task. See, all rows reach to update operation. So if I truncate, if there are duplicates for update operation, it won't be a problem. While trying to insert, what happens you see. Restart task. See here in the source we have 5 rows, only 4 rows loaded into insert. and you can see one rejected row also. Why? Because there is a duplicate record existing in your source. In the database level, you have defined as a primary key, so it won't allow duplicates. See, that's why 4 rows reached to insert and 1 row went to reject. Now check in the database also. Select start from EMP. See, only 100 loaded only once. But really, ideally, in real time, we should fail the session. We have to fail the session whenever such kind of errors comes. So what we need to do for that? So here in the session level we have one property. Double click on the session, go to config object. There is one option here, stop on errors. So by default 0. When you select 1, when first error comes, your session will fail. When you select 2, after 2 errors, your session will fail. In interviews also sometimes they will ask you question. I want to fail my session after 3 errors, or I want to fail my session after 5 errors. Then set stop on errors to 5. I want to fail my session after 10 errors, then set stop on errors to 10. By default 0. I want to fail my session with the first error itself. Generally we select stop on errors one in real time. Apply. Okay. Repository. So now what happens, you can see. Now I'm truncating my target table data. And restart it. I click restart this. See, it's failed. Now you can see unique constraint violated. So in this way you can fail your session. If you go to get session log, you can see it will write the data also. See here, it has written data also, which row is causing the problem. Row ID 5, employee number 100, name, salary. So in this way, in the session log, you can identify why it is failed. So you can go to source and you can check where employee number equal to 100. Then you can see 2 rows. Select start from employee where number is equal to. See, you have 2 rows. That's why it's failed. So here you can see the error. Database at left side you can see error. Some places info debug you can see. While inserting data into the target table, the constraint violation happened and it has thrown an error. Any questions so far? Okay. So in the target also it won't store any data if it fails. See here. Select star from see no data. No star. So earlier when you did not select stop on errors to 1, it loaded 3 rows into the target and 1 row went to reject. When it is failed, no rows inserted. So here I want to show you the debugger concept. Suppose in real time You have one target table, you have a column of salary. So you loaded data into your target table according to the mapping salary of 3000 per an employee 100. The business asked, no, it should not be 3000, it should be 5000. Then how do you trace it? Where the problem is? One way is you can do manually, you can verify. So backlink option, right click, select link path, backward option. So then it will link how the data is coming from the source. So okay, in update strategy, salary is coming in router. In router this port came, both means it will forward and backward directions. Like this you can identify from the source it is directly coming or any derived logic is there or not. So even though if you are not able to identify where the problem is with this approach, manual approach, then we go for debugger option. See how to run a debugger. From the menu bar, select mappings, go to debugger, there is option start debugger. Then it opens debug mapping option, click on next. So here select use an existing session instance. Why? Because we already created a session, so we can utilize that. Click on next. So it is showing our session. Click on next. Click on finish. See, different windows came in the bottom when you select debug. Now go to mappings, debugger, next instance. See, in the source qualifier the value is first like this. Again go to mappings, debugger, next instance, or F10 shortcut. See, these are the values in the lookup. Mappings, debugger, next instance. See, these are the values in the router. So you can see router input group. So this row qualified for insert. Mappings, debugger, next instance. So you can verify each and every transformation how the port value is. That way it helps you to track it. So from the source salary is started with 9000. So where it is changing when loading into the target, you have multiple transformations in between your source and target. Mappings, debugger, next instance. So this is a lookup. Again mappings, debugger, next instance. So in router also it is showing 9000. So in this way you can cross check in which transformation the value is modified. You can debug for each and every row also. Mappings. By default it will show one by one all the rows. Next instance. Mappings, debugger, next instance. Suppose if you have, see right now it is showing under source qualifier or lookup. I want to jump into directly into update strategy. What are the values? Then there is one option, mappings, debugger, step 2 instance. When you select step 2 instance, it directly goes to that place. See, it went to update strategy. So suppose you want to move to this, mappings, debugger, step 2 instance. So already it is closed. Why? Because all rows it is processed. Suppose again if you start mappings, debugger, start debugger. Mappings. So select the router, directly mappings, debugger. Directly I don't want to see source qualifier data expression or lookup. Directly I want to see router data. Step 2 instance. Select that one and click on step 2 instance. Then you can see automatically went reach to router. have that kind of flex. By default it is showing all the rows, right? I don't want to search all the rows. Whatever the problem I have, that row only I want to debug. Then what you need to do? Notice debugger. First stop the debugger. So in the session level you can do a override whatever the row you want to process. What you need to do is go to mapping tab, select your source. So here you can source filter option is there. Number is equal to, I want to check only 200 row. Okay, apply. Now run the debugger. Then it will take only 200. Mappings debugger. If you don't select that option, it will show one by one. Suppose if you have 1 lakh rows, you should have to run those many times. So I don't want to run 1 lakh times. I want only one row. So I can go for session level override and I can update this. Mappings debugger. Next instance. See here, 200 came from source. Mappings debugger. Next instance. See lookup data. Press F10 otherwise. Router. And then it's closed. Only one row is closed. So with the help of debugger, you can verify the logic where the values are changing, whether your logic is working fine or not. Any questions so far? Suppose if your debugger is not working, there is an alternative approach to see each and everything. So in the session level, we have one option. Go to config object, temporarily just remove stop on errors, and go to here one option is there, override tracing. In the config object, you need to go for override tracing option. There are different things it is showing. By default none, tests, normal, verbose initialization, verbose data. These are known as tracing levels. Tracing level means the amount of information written into the session log. How much information you want to write into the session log. Test means very small. Normal means compared to test you can see more data in the session log. If you select verbose data, it will write completely each and everything. Generally we use this for debugging purpose only. Why? Because if you have 1 lakh rows, it will write 1 lakh rows into the session log. Then it will take more time. So only for testing purpose if your debugger is not working. Auto mappings. So I have written override. I want to remove. So otherwise it will take only one row. I want to show all rows. In the config object, override tracing, select verbose data. Apply. Repository. Now select your session. Right click, start. See, it succeeded. So right click, get session log. It will write each and everything into the session log. What are the values in the source qualifier? What are the values in the lookup? Everything. See, this is your source qualifier data. First row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. It will write like that. And then it will write lookup data also, whatever the value. See, this is the lookup data on your target cell. See, this is the router data. It will write each and everything. When you select verbose data option, it will write everything into the session log, how it is reading from the source, what are the values, how many rows it has taken into the lookup with values also. So using this data, you can trace back where the problem is in router, what are the values, how performing for all the rows, or if you want to override for only one row, you can do that also. So either you can go for verbose data option if you want to see the data in the session log, or you can run the debugger. These two are very important. In interview point of view also they will ask, suppose if you get one logical error, how do you know? How do you trace back it? First one is manually we can cross verify. If you are able to identify the error, then we are good. If you are unable to identify the error through manual check, then you need to go for either debugger option, or you can go for verbose data option. These are useful. Any questions so far? Okay, in the next class I will explain SCD type 2. So tomorrow we meet at the same time.